I belong to the Sui Baidam clan of Saibai Island. Sui is the black-winged stilt, and Baidam is shark. And that's my grandfather's totem. My secondary totem is my grandmother's totem, and that is Samu, and Samu is cassowary. I do a number of language activities, and I do interpreting and translating, and I also run a language revitalization program, basically a language teaching program. And this is a pilot program that I started. It was actually initiated by my niece in Cairns very recently, and she wanted to learn language. So I started with her. I put it up on social media, and I got a flood of requests from other family members, young family members, and also just people who other Torres Strait Islanders, or not Kalakaua speakers, but they wanted to learn language as well, and to my surprise, from industry. And this was all over Australia, to people that are in Western Australia and New South Wales and here in Queensland. I also do face-to-face as well here in the community. The language I speak is called Kalakaua, which is spoken on Saibai, Duan and Buigu. And it belongs to a family of languages called Kalalagauya. And so there are basically 4 dialects. There's Kalakaua, and there's Kulkalgauya, which is spoken in the Central Islands. Then there is Mabiag, which is spoken in the inner west, Western Islands, and there's Kawared. In the Eastern Islands group, the language spoken there is Meriamir. Now these 2 languages, Kalalagauya and Meriamir, are very distinct languages. So distinct, like we cannot understand each other. There might be some words that are similar, but they're quite distinct, because Meriamir is a Papuan language, and Kalalagauya is essentially an Aboriginal language, but it has a lot of, the vocabulary is Papuan. They used to be able to, communicate with each other because they would learn each other's languages, especially with the trading. But not everybody was fluent. There was just a few people that would have been fluent, especially the ones that had the contact. So through colonization and the other countries, from Asia, Pacific, and Europe, when they came into the Torres Strait, that's when another language was introduced, and that was the Pidgin. It was called Pidgin back then. And so this is where the Torres Strait Creole emerged from. It's basically children, the children of these traders who married, into the communities, into the islander women, and so they made up this language and borrowed it from. Pidgin. There were pidgins spoken all over the world, so it was a mix of this and a mixture of that. And when you look at this language, it's a contact language, and so it became the lingua franca. It became the common language. So, and that has spread all throughout Torres Strait. So that is another language that we call our own, because we made it up with the current, new generation of Torres Strait Islanders. I left Bramaga when I was 15 years old, and I would come up for Christmas. Every Christmas I would come home. And throughout the years I noticed that, hey, these children these days are not speaking our language anymore. They're speaking Yimfatok. They're speaking the Creole language. And I started getting concerned about that, because I felt like we were not, communicating on the same level as, as the younger people. And it was getting more and more prevalent every year. And we were losing something that was the core of our culture, which is language. But I felt that I didn't really have that knowledge, the qualifications, and I wanted to delve into it further. That's what made me do tertiary studies in language, so I'd be in a better position to do something in the community about preserving, maintaining, and revitalizing our language. The best sound is the child speaking the language. That is the joy. That is what we want to hear, is them speaking the language. Whether they're just learning it or they're just naturally speaking the language, that is the best. That's what inspires me. You don't necessarily have to be a fluent speaker to do work in language, to do the revitalization work of language. You just have to be someone who's very driven and have been inspired by something and driven, and you're doing that work. And when I see younger people who are involved in language work, and when I see younger people who are speaking the language, that gives me that hope that there are changes that are happening. They're very small steps, but you have to start small. You have to plant the seed, and that plant has to grow. You got to nurture it so it becomes this big tree, and then bears fruit and goes on and on. So we're at that stage where we're still in the very early stages of revitalizing our language. The Maori people, it took them 30 years to turn it around. 30 years. So we're probably we're still in the very early decade of the first decade, I would guess. In the very first decade. And I'm 60. I'm 60. And I would want to be around in 30 years. I want to be around when I'm 90. And I want to see people speaking language fluently on a day-to-day basis. I want to see those second language learners being the teacher. So at the moment, we're the first language, we're the teachers. But I want to be around when our children and our grandchildren are the teachers of the language. That's when you know that we've won half the battle. It is a battle because there are so many forces that are against us. We've been talking about these terms before. We call these our elders they are living libraries, because our culture is oral, it's expressed orally. We're losing our libraries. They're the source of our knowledge. They're the source of our information. And when you don't have that, where do you go? You go to archives. You go to something that's stored. You go to something that's not living. And when you lose someone, a great chunk of knowledge goes down with them. And it's one thing to lose people here and there, but when you lose them in such a short time, in such rapid succession as we did, it is a shock. It's like you grieve. You grieve not just for the person, you also grieve for what is lost, the knowledge that's lost. And then you suddenly feel as an individual that you have to take on a role that has been left vacant, and suddenly the job that you're doing, you can no longer just put it back on, I'll do that tomorrow. The clock is really sort of ticking down now. So whatever job we're doing, time is no longer a luxury. Time is really of the essence, because if you look around in your community, like I look around in my community, I could probably count on two hands a number of elders we've got lost, that we've got left. We lost so many in such a short time that now we've got, these are like treasures, let's treasure them. And it's not just about preserving culture, it's about preserving our health. Because, if our elders are dying, who's going to carry on from that, Some of us are not fully equipped yet to step into that role. And we need more years and years, but now it's like, okay, let's just stop thinking, okay, some other things have now taken priority. We're going to put some things aside and take on other things, And like for me personally, when I embarked on this, this language program that I'm doing, then it occurred to me one day, hang on, this is no longer, I need to really take this seriously now, because now is the time. It's not tomorrow anymore, or the day after that. It's now that I have to do something now. So this is what I do as an individual, and hopefully I'm going to expand and, influence other people, and hopefully there are other people in the community who've also been woken up with the fact that you've now got a big responsibility that has landed on your shoulders, whether you like it or not. Take it up, because now is your time. Step into your role. Ngingu laigi, kita nginu zaget mizanana, idi nginu zaget aymar, balbagi ngaymar. Ngitseta ngalpan kazil murpamir, ngalpan igilil maya, ngalpan yadayo, kurfami tana, na bangal tana mun kazil, kurfami ni. Tana mun kazi itana ngangai mun ngalpan mo begal ngapanango akaya popia maya baba yang ngapam saiba ngunanga mudta madin kapai na nabi gagat ngalpal pai madin tana pana gi midin ngalpal pa alpo basa tabiya buguti yala dunya mun pa alpo brin tana mun zaget ngaru ngai fu alpan kazi wa mata kida.
My name is John Mark. I'm from New Mapoon as an elder, and my role here is looking after culture and teaching kids for dance and music and artwork and many more other things. And I come from the Warrangu clan, and my totem is that sea eagle. We call him Ruwe. That's the sea eagle. That's my grandfather totem, that one. And for my grandmother totem is that Baramandi. He be late 63, I don't know what time, but I think I can remember it was about 1 or 2 in the morning when the policemen will come to Old Mapoon. We can hear all that screaming, yelling. They will rip until all our house, burn all our house down, and they will chase us away. They will take us about maybe 5 or 6 in the morning. We will go on that down the beach. We got a big house they call Mission House. They will put us under that house. We'll be surrounded by policemen so that nobody can't walk away from that area, because we were ready to catch a boat in that morning. When I become here, when we settled in properly now, going for that late 70s, 80s, we used to go at the back there. We used to have one big tea tree there with them all man used to lay and dance. That's why we used to sit, watch all, sing with all, lay them guitar. They used to dance, island dance and corroboree there. That's where we be sit down and I get all that knowledge and understanding for keep on teaching, but I be teach a lot of dancing, music, and I still going, and all them young fellas who be teach dancing and music today, all some are married, some are living, and I still teaching music to all my grandkids and who want to learn. Having see if there are nobody else like me, around the community want to grab hold of culture, grab hold of that knowledge and understanding from them old men, old ladies, teach dancing, teach song. I would say, oh well, some of them just walking away from culture, but I would grab hold of it, like a friend, like a mate, like a spirit, and I know the same spirit. He could help me, never mind I grow old, he could still be there for give me strength and to keep teaching on and on. It's one where they are, it's called that sweeping dance for all the ladies to come in and make way for all them men to come. Oh, kulaku, mina mina, hey, kulaku, mina mina, hey, oh, kulaku, mina mina, oh, kulaku, mina mina, I see now it's really different. When I was growing up, we would find things to do, which is more good than now, we go behind the bush, make slingshot, we make tin truck, we make stick horse and all that, It'd be like an ongoing thing. We got a season. When we look bird, they got a season to make Shanghai. When they got fish, they got season to make bow and arrow. And all them things being in place of a year. But now, our young girls and boys, it's like they got too many this white fella way now, playing with phone and, they do many things. When I try to tell them, I'll say, no. This is not your way. This is our way, But our way, if we got respect and understanding and knowledge. Today, you're nothing. Well, what I hope for the future, I hope that my song and my teaching for dance, I hope my young fella or my grandson, he could carry that spirit on, for dancing right through until they teach that other generation. Well, when some old people last leave us now, I think I could pick the culture from there now and seeing them young boys where in that time when I've been starting to be a man and teach singing and dancing, my spirit will tell me to carry the legend on, keep carrying it on so that that spirit will be in them and it will go on to another generation. And I hope these young people that I'm teaching now will carry that spirit of dancing and singing. That's our life. This one, well, the ladies coming in, Becky, the way for the men to come. Oh, you pon goti, you pon goti, oh, you pon goti, you pon goti, oh, you pon goti, you pon goti, ay, 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 ay.